President Trump's plan is ambitious, it is optimistic, and it gives back to the hardworking people of this country. He did announce last night no more taxes on overtime for the hardworking men and women of this country who have been forced into more overtime because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's economic policies. That's in addition to President Trump's pledge to end taxes on tips for our hardworking service workers, bartenders, waitresses, you name it, no more taxes for them. And also his pledge to end taxes on Social Security for our hardworking seniors who have paid into the system their entire lives. They deserve to have more money in their pockets, not less. Kamala Harris wants to tax people to death on top of the record high inflation. That is the worst flat tax of all. She's also proposing a 28% business tax rate, which will send more jobs overseas, make our country less competitive here at home. And she wants to end the Trump tax cuts, which would increase taxes on 26 million small businesses across the country.
Yeah, it's really, so hard to think about how Americans have to choose, what they're going to buy when they're trying to feed their kids and sometimes using credit cards. I would like to focus just a minute on, what happens in this, echo chamber, which is the legacy media. So you have the people who are the pundits saying that she did so great, and they don't live in the real world like real Americans. They don't live in the world of Taylor Swift. And when they talk on their, ivory tower perches here, like over MSDNC, this is what they sound like. And I want to get your reaction to the comments, the way they describe Trump supporters today in 2024, Karoline.
Yeah, absolutely. It does great everything. And also to do things, Ellie, that one would think are career-ending. The way he desecrated Arlington National Cemetery would be career-ending for a normal politician. His constant lies. But even this piece about saying, well, my building was the tallest until, they brought down the World Trade Center. Now it's the second tall. I mean, everything he does is despicable.
The reason why it doesn't end his career is because his supporters are just as despicable.
That's a nice thing to say about half of the country, or at least 74 million people that voted for Donald Trump. Karoline?
Disgusting and violent comments from the intolerant left that claims to be the party of tolerance and inclusivity. Not at all. If you don't think the way they do, if you want to secure our border, put our country first, decrease taxes, and stop these wars that have broken out all over the world, then they deem you as a basket of deplorables, like Hillary Clinton said. They call you insurrectionists and even domestic terrorists in many cases. Have we seen under the Biden-Harris administration that labeled parents who were showing up at their school board meetings as terrorists? It's despicable rhetoric, and they are the reason for the division in this country. They are the reason that President Trump nearly or barely survived an attempt on his life, because the media spews this type of rhetoric about half of the country. And it's just despicable and sad to see. And maybe, just maybe, if they took a minute to understand President Trump supporters to come to our rallies, they would realize they are filled of God-fearing, freedom-loving people who just want to make this country great again.
That's so true. In our final seconds here, too. And, they're doing it, in the pundit rooms like that. But it was on full display with the moderators of ABC this week. The way they did not hit policy questions. They did not ask her about her flip-flops. They fact-checked him. She took the bloodbath comment, which was about the disastrous EV auto industry that they want to kill, and made it something else. Mark Penn, a former Clinton pollster, says ABC needs to do an internal investigation on whether or not it was rigged. Now, obviously, we don't think ABC will look into itself, but the fact that this is still going on days after this debate, the real question, the heart is with the distrust of the media on the legacy side. Do they even deserve to continue to have debates, Karoline?
Probably not, because look at the way that Tuesday night was conducted. It was despicable. David Muir and Lindsey Davis should be ashamed of themselves. They wrongly fact-checked President Trump 5 times. In fact, David Muir was proven wrong yesterday. New data from the Department of Justice proves President Trump's point on the stage that, in fact, crime is increasing under the Harris-Biden administration. So David Muir should apologize to President Trump for wrongly fact-checking him there. And they did not fact-check Kamala Harris once, even though she spewed multiple lies about President Trump and where he stands on the issues. It's a disgrace to see what has happened in the media in this country. But as you point out rightly, Bianca, that's why distrust of the media is at an all-time high in this country right now.
Well, we're pleased to have you in today, and we are waiting Donald Trump to come out and speak to the nation and, in fact, the world in just a few minutes. Karoline Leavitt, always good to have you. Thanks for your time today.
He'll be out any minute. Thank you.